What is going on, YouTube? Sorry about the shaky camera there to start, but wanted to come back. I know I did a video, was it 2 days ago? First one back in a while, but I definitely wanted to keep up the football discussion. Like I said, with a lot of big stuff coming around soon, between the NFL draft, college football's National Signing Day just wrapping up. There's a lot to talk about right now, but there's one thing that has hit the news recently that is always fun to talk about. I'll preface it by saying that I'm not a huge fan of his in particular. He's very polarizing, entertaining player. There's no doubt about that. But I think that to take Johnny football seriously, you have to see something from him, to some level of consistency and commitment to success in the NFL before you can say that he'll be able to make a career, make a really good career for himself. So let me jump into some news that came out about a week or two ago, very recently, to where Johnny Manziel did his little hashtag comeback season. By essentially accepting an invite or joining the spring league. A lot of scouting opportunities for Johnny Manziel to kind of make his way back into the NFL. Now, in the last 3 years since Manziel was even in the NFL, last season was Cleveland Browns 2015. You've heard about the comebacks and, him going back and forth and saying that, he's ready to go, ready to put in the work, all that sort of stuff. But nothing has panned out so far. Not even so much as a contract or as any sort of lengthy contract from a certain team. But I do think that this is a good step for him. Obviously, I'm saying why this was a good move for him in particular. I actually did a full article on this. It was 3 reasons why this is a great move for Manziel. I stay away from saying anything beyond it's just a good move for Manziel, because I think that to say that it's good for the entirety of the NFL world, that's a big step to take before he even makes his way into fall camp or the preseason or anything like that. So beyond that, I think that Johnny Manziel has had his fair share of difficulties in the last 2 or 3 years. Right before he announced his return, or not really his return, but announced his another attempted comeback, really. He opened up on, I believe it was Good Morning America, Good Morning America, in an interview, just talking about his dealing with bipolar disorder and how that's affected him, and how he wants to deal with that now and make the best of his situation. Johnny Manziel is still, obviously it seems like he's been in the news forever at this point. Kind of Tim Tebow-like in terms of, even if he's not on an NFL roster or making any significant headlines with his play in any football game, he stays in headlines for a long time. It was the 2014 NFL draft where I think his career looked to be the most promising. He showed he did show a few flashes in 2015 of, how he could be a quality starting quarterback in the NFL. It's hard to say with the, supporting cast that he had with the Browns. I mean, very few, if any, starting quarterbacks have been able to do anything with the Browns in the past decade or so. And I think that if Manziel gets a chance on the right roster, he's only 25 years old. As an NFL quarterback, wouldn't even be in his prime years yet, just now be entering it here pretty soon. He's still a young option. He's obviously got a ton of talent. I mean, he's a first-round pick, I believe he was second quarterback selected in the 2014 NFL draft behind Blake Bortles and then before Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously NFL teams think very highly of his talent, and obviously he's a very marketable player that drives a lot of, I don't know about excitement per se, but energy, discussion around certain fan bases when there's rumors that or I can't even say like legit rumors, but just discussion and talk about him possibly joining a certain team. I know that the idea of Manziel to the Dallas Cowboys is something that's never going to go away. I don't think that that's a good situation at all if he joined into that. I do like the idea if Manziel is able to make a great comeback, everything gets in line again. That's at this point seems unlikely just from the past track record he's shown, but a positive outlook for him. If he ends up making a successful return through the spring league, he looks solid, he shows commitment, he starts getting some suitors from a couple different NFL squads, then I think that he can make a good run with a quarterback that provides maybe a little bit of veteran guidance for him. One of the things I actually mentioned in my article was a few of the teams that I think would be good situations for him are like the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, New York Giants, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, and Carson Palmer all being in the final years of their career, and the decline is obvious from Palmer, and from Manning. Rivers is, I think he's still got a couple good years left, but I think getting to see what those quarterbacks took to win, and their model of success, really giving Manziel a path to follow, and then letting him take over a team that probably at least would be in a better situation than he was in with the Browns would be a real solid move. Obviously, the idea of him to a team like the Cowboys, maybe the Texans, essentially staying in Texas, is always intriguing. It's cool to see something like that happen. But between Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott, kind of being the faces of those organizations, then I don't think there's much opportunity for Manziel to do much of anything besides even be a backup for a year or two. Now, again, I've said that, and I'm the one talking about this. I know that Manziel stays in the headlines a lot, and a lot of people are like, well, I don't really feel like talking about him, but we'll talk about him anyway. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Manziel in particular. There's a lot of back and forth that goes along with him and his mantra. Obviously a very exciting player. There's very few players that I've ever watched in college football that you enjoy watching as much as Manziel. And ultimately, I hope that he makes the best of his situation. He's got a lot of talent. I hope he can carry that over into at least a decent NFL career. We can see him take to the field a few more times and show what he can do. That's my main thinking with this situation. I do think that this is the final opportunity for Manziel. He is just 25 years old, but the clock is his clock is definitely about to strike midnight. It's not going to be a good image for him at all if he can't even make this comeback work out. And I do think that this is really his golden opportunity to finally make a push, get on a decent NFL roster, and start to build a quality professional career for himself. So that's mostly my take on the situation. I know that in terms of Manziel headlines, this one did, I guess, fly more under the radar than most, because it's been a couple years since he was even on an NFL roster, so that's easy to understand why. But I do think for a player as famous and noteworthy as him, that still has a shot to do something, it's worth at least discussing. But anyway, that is pretty much it. I will be coming back soon with a few more videos, hopefully today or this weekend, or I guess President's Day weekend. Today, within the next couple days or so. I've been wanting to hit on my really first round of NBA and NFL mock drafts for 2018. With the NBA draft is still a little bit of a ways around the corner, but the NFL draft coming up here in about 2 months. So anyway, that is pretty much it. So yeah.